Hey there, welcome back. I'm Flat Rate Mechanic, and today we're diving into a pretty common issue with Honda engines, the infamous engine rattle on cold starts, specifically in the Honda, Accord, and CR-V models. Ever heard that annoying clattering noise right after you start your car? It lasts just a couple of seconds before fading away, right? That's your VVT actuator giving you a heads up that it's time for a replacement. Now, before you think it's a big deal, let me tell you, it's not as scary as it sounds, and I'm here to walk you through the steps to fix it yourself. Honda even put out a service bulletin on this, so you're definitely not alone. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about what causes that cold start rattle. The VVT actuator, sometimes called a cam phaser or VTC actuator, controls the timing of your camshaft. Usually around 80,000 to 120,000 miles, these actuators can wear out. When that happens, oil passages can get clogged or the locking mechanism starts failing. So when you start your Honda after it's been sitting for a while, the actuator rattles until oil pressure builds up and locks everything in place. That's why you only hear it right after a cold start. But here's the kicker. Don't ignore that rattle. Sure, it might seem manageable short term, but you're risking bigger problems like a slipping timing chain or even bent valves. Trust me, you don't want a $3,000 engine rebuild on your hands. Now, if you're rocking a 2013 to 2017 Honda Accord or a 2013 to 2020 CR-V with that 2.4-eel Earth Dreams engine, you're in the right place. You'll need the OEM VTC actuator, which costs around $180 to $220, plus some gaskets and seals for about $25 to $30. While you're at it, if you've got over 100,000 miles, I'd suggest grabbing a new timing chain tensioner as well. It's only about $45. All right, let's talk tools. Here's what you'll need: a 10mm socket and wrench for most bolts, 12mm and 14mm sockets for the covers, a torque wrench, a safety pin or some wire for the tensioner lock, a marker to mark your timing, zip ties, compressed air, and some safety glasses. Oh, and don't forget your fresh oil, Honda's recommended 0W20 synthetic. Now here's where it gets interesting. Removing the valve cover. Start by taking out those 10mm bolts around the cover. Keep track of them, as some could be different lengths. And be ready with a catch pan because you'll get some oil spilling out. Once it's off, check the valve cover gasket. If it's hard or crusty, grab a new one while you're at it. Most importantly, don't over-tighten those valve cover bolts when putting everything back together. Use a torque wrench set to 8.7 foot-pounds, and make sure to follow the proper tightening sequence, starting from the center and working your way out. Once you've got the cover off, you'll see your camshafts and timing chain. Now we need to set everything to top dead center. This is crucial. Remove the access cover for the timing chain tensioner and rotate the crankshaft clockwise until all your timing marks align at TDC. Look for marks on your crankshaft sprocket and exhaust cam sprocket. Everything needs to line up perfectly. A little pro tip, use whiteout to mark your timing alignment points. Trust me, it'll save you a headache later. Now, if you've taken the tensioner completely out, you'll need to reset it. Put it in a vise and compress it until the holes align. Then stick your safety pin in to lock it in place. Next, let's get to replacing the VVT actuator. Secure that rear cam sprocket with zip ties to prevent any movement while you take off the front actuator. Use a wrench to hold the camshaft steady so you can remove the actuator bolts. Once the actuator's off, check it for wear. That's likely what's causing your rattle. When installing the new actuator, make sure to clean the mounting surface on the camshaft first. Line up the dot on the sprocket with your earlier white mark, then thread and torque the bolts down to 36 foot-pounds. Once you've reassembled everything, double-check all your timing marks one last time. Rotate the crankshaft 2 complete revolutions by hand to make sure everything comes back to TDC correctly. If something's off, stop and figure it out before starting the engine. And now for the money talk. If you take this job to a shop, you could be looking at $800 to $1,400. But doing it yourself, you're only spending about $200 to $350 on parts. You're looking at a savings of at least $600, and that's a pretty nice chunk of change. So to wrap up, today we covered how to tackle that annoying cold start rattle in your Honda, Remember to take your time, double-check those timing marks, and don't be shy about reaching out if you hit a snag. Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful, share it with your fellow gearheads, and I'll catch you in the next one.